Welcome to the Workplace Ninja Summit 2022 podcast, a live recording directly from Lucerne with interesting topics.
And we are live within a new interview and a new recording together with my co-host Peter Daalmans. And my name is Frans Oudendorp. And we have on the table Ramya and Steven. And they will introduce themselves in a few seconds. But first, we have Peter next to me. Peter.
Back again.
Back again.
Yeah, now with a full room. So we might have a little bit of background noise, but that's keeping it exciting, I guess.
It's live.
It's live, indeed.
And on the table, we have Ramya and Steven. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
I'm Ramya. Thanks for having us, Frans and Peter. My name is Ramya Chitrakar. I'm VP of Engineering for Microsoft Endpoint Manager, as Intune and Config Manager, and for Windows Commercial.
Nice. And Steven?
Hey everybody, I'm Steve Dispensa. I'm VP of Product for the same products, Endpoint Manager and Windows Commercial.
Cool. And Workplace Ninjas, Endpoint Manager. So that's connecting each other, I think.
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah, that's it. First in a long time that we are here on an in-person conference. What does that mean for you, Steve?
Oh, it's so fantastic to be back here with everybody in person again, seeing people I haven't seen in years. Actually meeting a lot of people who I've never had the chance to meet in person, even though we've been working together for, several years now. Lots of people who I recognize from the customer communication programs, from the MVP summits, and just from the community. And so it's just been great. And this morning, as Ramya and I did the keynote, I noticed it when I walked out, just to actually see faces looking back at you from the crowd. Such an energy increase. So even though I'm still jet lagged and it was 12:30 a.m. at home, I had that adrenaline rush back that I've been missing for the last couple of years.
And how is that for you, Ramya?
As Steve said it, I think it's energy, super energizing to see people having the interaction with people using our product. When I walked in from the train station, I saw advertisements of Intune. It made me so proud, to see people using our product, things that my team builds, and we work really hard at it, and seeing people really hard at deploying our product, using our product, makes me really, really proud. So thank you for having us, and it's very nice to see the energy around here. It makes us energized to go back and do more.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you guys here, and I think Europe is one of the environments, or how to say, they're using Intune already for a really long time. And I was surprised with the advertisements also. Really great.
Yeah.
Advertisements and the train station?
In the train station,
Yeah.
like
Great.
four billboards around
Exactly,
Intune.
I took pictures and I sent it to the team.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, cool.
It made the rounds internally, lots of internal high-fiving going on in the
Yeah.
Microsoft team.
Yeah.
And they have that in Switzerland, but in the Netherlands I didn't see that.
No, they're arriving here. Next year we do Schiphol also.
Okay, let's make that happen, Peter. Endpoint Manager, that is the product where you're working on, but that has a long way. Where is it coming from? We have Intune, and there were some others.
It started with Config Manager, and you see a lot of Config Manager folks here. You see the history, and some of them I actually know from the Config Manager days. So it's nice to see the journey together. But, now I see as many of them actually post-pandemic. It's amazing to see the transformation from the industry. Steve talked in his keynote about the worldview that we see, and I see that resonated back today. So many of our customers, so many of the folks here deploying, moving to the cloud, the transformation, it's evident, at least I noticed it. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting to think about the history of these products because they've been around really since the dawn of IT. I actually have an old MCSE certificate from the mid-90s, if you can remember that. So SMS server was one of the products. And, we have a multi-decade history in the ConfigMan code base. And so, it's also deployed to, almost 200 million devices. So it's still very widely used in the world today. And so our strategy is really thinking about how can we use those on-premises assets in Configuration Manager and connect them up to the cloud so you get the best of both worlds. And that goes to my call to action at the end of the keynote, talking about getting your config man sites tenant attached, turning on Endpoint Analytics and so on. And that's really gone quite well. We're now at about 50% of all Windows endpoints are connected to the cloud one way or the other, which is exciting to see.
Yeah.
I saw some impressive numbers in the keynote. There was also the 50%, but there were some other numbers, and that is, I think, machines that are connected not only to Endpoint Analytics but also modern managed.
Yes.
Do we see that moving forward to modern management in every stuff and every industry? And because what we saw in the Netherlands, that was starting small, and then it went bigger. And I think the Netherlands is running in front, probably. I hope so. But do we see that in other areas in the world also?
We are seeing it, and it shot up during the pandemic, and it continued. The trend continues now because people have tried it, and when industries observe others, their contemporaries trying it and seeing them succeed, they want to do it, and so that gives us affirmation, right? And it gives us confidence, and it gives the industry confidence. So we're seeing that pattern all over. Even in my conversations today with folks after the keynote, during one-on-one sessions, everybody's asking questions on how to deploy. The conversations are no longer about if they should attach, if they should use Endpoint Analytics. It's about, hey, I have tried this, what do I do for this next scenario? And they're giving feedback for what other things we should go invest in. So that's a huge positive in the future direction. Probably next time you'll see double those numbers, Frans. So let's see.
Hopefully.
Yeah. What I've seen in the business is that Windows Update for Business was suddenly a no-brainer. Just tenant attached, co-management, and migrate software updates to Intune Windows Update for Business, because all those devices weren't connected anymore to the config manager environment. So that was an easy switch.
It's an easy move,
And Peter, here's the funny part. When I joined Microsoft from college, I actually was a developer on Config Manager on the software updates team. Yeah. So I specifically understand the complexity with software updates, and Windows Update for Business takes out all of that complexity away from IT admins, and we've come a long way. We've come a long way.
Oh, definitely.
And actually, if I can plug, isn't Arya doing a talk on updates here?
Yep.
So go see Arya Carly and ask her all your update questions.
Yep.
One of the key features to move to modern management is Windows Updates for Business. I have one customer in the past few weeks that want to move to Defender for Endpoint and want to manage them on a modern way. And that was for them, was the school, for example. And that was for them the way to move to co-manage. It's to be the Defender for Endpoint, to manage them from the Endpoint Manager environment instead of Config Manager, and they need Config Manager for some image deployment. But it works hand in hand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a common theme that we see. There's one sort of motivating workload that gets you to attach, and security is certainly very high on that list. And it's easy to do. You move that one workload to the cloud, you can then manage it very fully. And then, you can take advantage of this thing that Microsoft does that's, I don't know if it's unique in the industry, but we have a strong belief that IT and security admins need to work very closely together to have a good experience for their end users. And so we brought the Defender for Endpoint sort of configuration and admin interface directly into Intune to make that happen. And actually, we'll be talking, Matt Call is here, and I think he'll be talking at the conference as well about some further improvements that we've made on Defender Endpoint, where now not only is it easy to manage your devices that are already Intune managed, but it will also become easy to install Defender Endpoint to manage it, even on devices that are not Intune managed. And so that's another big move. It's an area we keep investing in heavily for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that the Defender for Endpoint part, instead within the configuration that can be sent to the Defender for Endpoint agent, that is a huge announcement that helps us from a SecOps perspective. Really helpful instead of moving into the workplace part. So if I can give that back, that is a really thing that helps us in our day job.
Cool. Thank you, Frans.
What is next for Endpoint Manager?
You want to start?
Well, I'll put in the plug for analytics. It's the future. I just had a chat with a gentleman who was also talking about employee experiences, right? They said that, there was an era of end user experiences, end user computing, and, making it user-centric, but now it's all about experiences, right? The experiences they are creating. And I was telling them, no longer can we do this kind of computation manually, right? And then I really believe that as Microsoft, we have access to so much data. I think we are in a unique position, because of our services across Azure, across M365, to bring them all together, to bring the data together, munge it, run machine learning across it, to provide that kind of insights that will enable IT. So, for me, it's going to be an AI-driven world. So why not leverage it to enable IT?
And it's, I think, still an underestimated subject, endpoint analytics, because a lot of customers of mine that are using Intune are not aware that they can look at the most crashes or most apps that are crashing, or the devices that have, I don't know how many blue screens a day, because people are used to just, let's reboot, grab a coffee and...
We'll get there, Peter. I think we have to make it to a point where it is, it makes it almost like a dependency. People build a dependency on it, right? It's one thing to say, hey, here is a report, but when you start to build a dependency that people want to use it, I think that's when we make it.
Yeah, and it's really great information.
Yeah.
And it's easy to enable. I mean, I shared a stat this morning that we're at about 50 million endpoints that are covered by EA now. And so it's very straightforward to turn on, and I agree exactly. Ramya said it perfectly. It's an AI-driven world, and we believe strongly that we can make all of our lives easier as IT pros through the power of analytics.
Yep, definitely.
And more adopting and managing macOS, for example. We see a lot of announcements in the past period.
Yeah.
Is that moving forward also?
Yeah, macOS is another important platform for us. We, of course, in Intune and MEM, we try to be very cross-platform. So we talked about Linux this morning in the keynote as well. But yeah, macOS is a very important endpoint for us. We see especially lots of dev shops are doing software development on macOS. And so, we have fairly robust support in Intune for macOS already, but it's an area where we're investing. This morning we talked about we now support PKG installers directly, and Ramya did a great demo of using actually a Windows device to go do a macOS PKG deployment, which is another great step forward. So lots still to do on Mac, but we're working actively on that.
What I found is for macOS, to add on to what Steve was saying earlier, it would be, we heard from customers where they would have primarily either a Windows shop or other mobile devices, and they would have the subset, executives, etc., using Mac, and just to support them, having Jamf. And of course, we'll continue our partnership with Jamf, but we want to be, the first-class platform for macOS management, and we are getting there, like over the course of last year, every month. Like I have a blog which I publish about my favorite features every month. Every single month. Last year, there was a macOS release. And that's how much we've been investing, for macOS over the last year. And we'll continue to do that, till we get, close, to full support for the platform.
And I'm using your blog every month because we have an internal update, Microsoft 365 update for our customers. And that is the input for me to show our customers what things are changing in the world of Endpoint Manager, in the workplace management stuff. So thanks for that.
Those are my personal favorites, by the way, so I'm glad that you like it and find it helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other blogs by colleagues of you, they published, we consume that.
That's very good.
So thanks for that. I think there is next month. There's an event in Seattle.
There is an event in Seattle coming up next month.
It's a hybrid event.
A hybrid event. It's going to be on fire. If you Ignite is coming. It's coming back in person in a limited way for the first time in a little while. I can't wait. Ramya and I are jointly doing the management keynote. We've already recorded it. There's some very cool stuff in there. Lots of great demos. And we're looking forward to meeting customers, and it won't quite be back to the huge scale Ignite in-person events that we've had in the past, but it's definitely a step on the path. But the other thing you mentioned, hybrid, is it's also going to be available to stream.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely encourage you to stream it remotely, even if you can't get to Seattle to see it in person, because all the content is going to be there. And like I said, some very cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I will consume that online, so I can be there in person. And I know a few other guys from the Netherlands are in person there. So I think people around the world will join there.
Yep.
And probably the registration is open at the moment.
Yeah, I think that
the
was this
registration
week.
is open. It was this week. And yes, please go register. And we have a bunch of AMA sessions, which are also going to be hybrid. So please join us for that. We'll have a lot of experts on various topics related to endpoint management, everything we discussed today, security, Defender, so all of them, right? So please join us.
Please come and try to stump the team.
Great. Is there one last thing, key takeaway from this day at this conference?
Takeaway so far, apart from the fact that it's been so great reconnecting with people in person, it's really been inspiring hearing some of these stories about people making the move forward into hybrid and cloud native management. I really do think all of my conversations are sort of about this. It's here. Hybrid is here to stay. We're all figuring out how to work in the hybrid world now, but as IT pros, it's our job to make that work well and to work seamlessly. And so my takeaway so far is hybrid is here to stay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Steve covered it. I not a takeaway as much, but I will say thank you to the Workplace and Ninja folks, the organizers, all of you. You've done a tremendous job. I think, getting folks together after a long time in person and, building this kind of energy, the kind of content, you've done a stellar job. So good work to all of you, and thank you.
Yeah.
Plus one. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
One thing for you?
Oh, the week isn't over. It just started. But yeah,
You was here the whole weekend.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's great to see finally people again, and for sure on our own event. We started planning this 3 years ago, but then it was cancelled due to COVID. We went 2 years online, and it's great to have finally see people in person and get the vibe, the atmosphere. Yeah, so much better than online.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being here on the table. Thanks for that.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
Great. And thank you for watching, listening, or whatever. And probably we see you later on today, where we probably will have David James on the table, or Michael Nieuwhuis. But that can probably be tomorrow, but we will see. So stay tuned for another interview with some of the other people.